That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes and I'll leave you alone.
Oh my God. It's too damn early for this shit. Leave me alone.
How do you dress like this? What are you a prostitute? I'm serious.
Sir, please leave.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave.
Leave
me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting.
So, this is Cynthia Ortiz. I do not consent to being trafficked. I do not consent to being a concubine. I do not consent to be prostituted or pimped out and have to suck anyone's dick or perform any kind of sex act, Mr. Perry. So for the record, there's that. My guy says he's looking at charging you guys with conspiracy of attempted rape, not just the other stuff. He's not going to call you, Mr. Perry. He said that. She's not to be broke. She's not to be having her privacy invaded. You're breaking the law. You are causing her injury. We're all worried about her. No one wants to hear what you think. You weren't asked. You were told to shut up and leave her alone, weren't you? So if you can't understand what I say the first time, and it has to be repeated, I'm not wasting my time talking to you, because what happens is I'm spending my time on productive work, like getting names of people working with you. Lucius, Sanjay, Geppetto, Beverly, James, Ruben, Monique, right? Who's Monique to you? So we can get information and you can't. He's not calling you back. The best thing I've ever heard is Mr. Perry's been looking for Cynthia's boss, whoever these guys are in law enforcement that are helping her, or boss, or whatever he is. Leaving messages everywhere. No one will call him back. He's not getting a call back. You won't. He doesn't waste his time talking to a fucktard. I said no. I did find out about the trafficking before you did it. We did get you last night talking about stealing my car. We did get you just an hour or two ago talking about the status of the oil and the tires. That could only be obtained illegally. You're breaking the law. You are being stopped. You are being told on. Nothing else has happened but that. You do owe me $1,000 a day for using my body for your pretend love life. You don't have a real love life. And for your entertainment and for profit, plus $2,000 a day for doing it without my consent. You also owe me interest on the money my grandmother left me that you told my parents not to give me. From the day you told them not to give it to me, they got that on recording too, by the way. Till the day I actually get it. Everybody's very angry at you that you devastated my life so badly. You don't get a date out of that. You're not loved. You're not wanted. You're just told on. It doesn't go both ways. I do not consent to being a concubine. I do not consent to being even your friend. I've done everything I can do to not have any contact with you at all. Right? He's not going to help you. He's not going to listen to your excuses. He doesn't care what you think. No one cares what you guys think. None of you. Calvin, bald fat Calvin. You're not the injured party. I am. Everyone's worried about me. You're breaking the law. You're causing the injury. You are hated. You are told on. Bald fat Calvin, David, Charles, Lucius. You're causing the injury. You're in violation of the law. You're the hated ones. You're told on. I have your names. We have your code words that you guys use. Ridiculous daycare code words. Rumpelstiltskin, Ratatouille, Pin the Tail on the Donkey, Hansel and Gretel, Papa John's, Weeble Wobbles, Yellow Brick Road, right? Muffin Man. Who's the Muffin Man to you, Charles? How'd you meet him? We have that. You have not one name. Not one. Because everybody hates you fuckers because you're cruelty. We can get information and you can't. You think you've told everybody who will listen, Charles. It's duly noted for the record. I'm going to take her car away, make her destitute, make her eat out of a dumpster, then maybe she'll like me. Has it worked so far to take everything I have, or does it just get us more? You had me, he said, in July 2022, she is not to be broke anymore. Period. Just like that. We're not asking you. We're telling you, Cynthia is not to be broke anymore. You're not to invade her privacy anymore. Got it? You laughed at us. So we got Lucius's name, Sonjay's name, and Geppetto's name, and Beverly's name out of that. Right? Did it work for you? Did it get you what you want? I don't know. You tell us. Did you want to get caught more? Did you want to get told on more? We got you talking about stealing my car. Because the longer you're in my life, the longer you invade my privacy, the longer you deprive me of food and shelter and my basic rights and needs, the more we get. The longer I'm broke, longer Mike's in jail, more problems you cause, the more we get. It's been that way for 7 years. Every fucking day. Every fucking day. You can't tell cause and effect. You can't tell same and different. Because it's different when you do it to me versus your other victims, but it's the same every time you do it. It's a life sentence for sex trafficking, Mr. Perry. How many counts are you going to be charged with, and are you going to be sentenced concurrent or consecutive? Rape, conspiracy to commit rape. She said no. No means no. She said, I'm not going to suck anybody's dick for you, for your pimping, being pimped out like that. I'm not doing it. I'm not performing sex acts for you and your weird bizarro buddies, your sex deviant friends. Your conduct is offensive, illegal, and deviant, and bizarre, frankly. People think you guys are bizarro. The reason it's illegal to do what you do. You're doing something illegal, you plan it, we get it when you plan it. The more we get, the easier it'll be to get a conviction and a whole lot of restitution for me and Mike and your other victims. It's like if that's what you want. I do not want to hear from you. I do not care what you think. No one cares what you think. We're all sick of hearing it. You need a lie. You know, people have already commented all over the place, Mr. Perry. He has caused such devastation to her life and such a drastic change that if she lies now, we'll all know he made her do it. You don't get to eat until you lie. You got a whole lot of coercion, counts of coercion coming at you too. David, Charles, Calvin, Lucius. Who's Lucius to you? How do you know him? How do you know Lucius, Charles? When did you meet him? What about bald fat Calvin? We know bald fat Calvin is bald and fat. You have not even one name of our guys. Nothing. He doesn't waste his time on the phone talking to a fucktard who can't fucking understand a word you say. And you have to repeat yourself all the time. He said, I told them in July 2022, you are not to be broke anymore. They are not to invade your privacy anymore. They are not to cause any more problems for you. And they did the opposite. So clearly he has no fucking idea what I'm saying. He's wasting my time. I don't waste my time. I'm going to use my time to get the bitch off you. And get things like Lucius's name and Sonjay's name and Geppetto's name and find out what all they are and who all they are and who all's helping him and what they're doing. How much is he paying him? So that when we go to court, I can use that against him to get a conviction and restitution. Period. We've said it over and over and over and over for years. McNamara email was in 2015. I didn't have any affiliation with the Catholic Church then, did I? We've quoted you on the ringtone. You know, your conversations about getting my ringtone. Your conversations about getting me back on the pole and on a schedule. Your conversations about when we take her car and she's destitute and she finally calls. Maybe, you know, she can't go back to New Mexico or Vegas. Where is she going to live? What's she going to do? We've got those conversations too, recorded. Can't we get a bus pass for her? Can't we get her to take the yellow brick road, take the bribe, and lie? We just need her to apologize. We've not had one with this much longevity. All of those recordings I've heard. So have 12 reporters. Some of them. They've heard some of them. Your conversations with a hitman are about getting a hitman and kidnapping me. We'll starve her, so she'll call her ex-husband and have him bring her to Texas. You tried to get Fabian to. You offered him what, 15, and he said no. Then you offered him 20, and he said no. And then you offered him 25, and he still said no. And I told you he will not help you, didn't I? I told you Fabian is not going to help you hurt me, didn't I? Not even for 15,000, not even for 20,000, not even for 25,000, right? So we can get information, and you can't. And the more we get, the easier it'll be to get a conviction and restitution. When you make the choice every day to make me broke, and I'm sleeping in my car, and you're trying to take that too, and you're discussing details about my car you can't possibly know by any legal means, stealing it, kidnapping me, killing me, making me get raped, making me be a concubine, I said no. Oh, fuck no. You are not even a friend. Not to me. I do not like you. I do not care what you think. No one does. Everybody's sick of hearing it. Nobody asked Creepy Neil here what he thought of her clothes. No one asked him. You're just the same. He wasn't asked. What was he asked to do? Leave her alone.
Leave me.
So if you can't act like you understand what people say, no one's going to help you. They're not wasting their time, Charles. You're making a choice. You can sit around and bother me all day and do more things to cause injury that we can add to this, or you can get a phone call. But the phone call, I promise you, isn't going to be what you think it is. Nobody, that's the best thing I've ever heard. This Texas senator is sex trafficking, and he's got some cops on him. One of the victims is helping them, and he's trying to go above her head and call and get in touch with them. Nobody's calling him back. No, nobody's calling him back. So you owe me money? That's interest. You owe me interest on the money my grandmother left me from the day you told my Len and Kathy not to pay it to me to the day I actually get it. You owe me $1,000 a day for using my body for your entertainment and for your pretend love life. You don't have a real love life. It doesn't go both ways. I've done everything I can do not to see you. There's not been a date. There'll never be a date. You make my skin crawl. You sicken everybody. That's how we get information. Everybody is outraged and sickened and hates you people for making me broke, for depriving me of food and shelter. We can get information because of it, and you can't. Because of it. Same thing with Mike. There's no way he could have done that murder. It's not possible. The facts say it's not possible. The facts say it is not possible. He didn't have a head injury, by the way. He did not have a head injury. He's unconscious and respiratory distress, no head injury. So what caused him to be unconscious and in respiratory distress? Opioid overdose. How'd he get that? You did it. How'd I get arsenic in my system? Although we didn't ever get a blood test, you deprived me of my legal right to the evidence as well of attempted murder. Attempted murder in the first degree, you planned it. We get you when you're planning it, right? We get it before, not after. It's different when you do it to me, but it's always the same when you do it. We get it before, not after. It's to prove malicious forethought. That's why we do that. That's how his time is used, very productively, getting intel nobody else has, right? He's not going to waste his time talking to a little fucktard who can't understand words. He said, I told them in July 2022, you are not to be broke anymore, and you're to give your privacy back. They're to leave you alone. And they did the opposite. So why would I call them? They don't understand what we say. We don't speak Hillbilly. I made it clear. Here's the deal. These are the terms. Take it or leave it. I'm getting information. I don't need his help with anything. He wants my help. I'm not going to help him. I'm trying to get him off you. Period. That's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. See you in court. See you in court. What day is he going to arrest you? All right? We're tired of this. Everybody's sick of it. We can get information and you cannot. Can you? This is what we got today. I think it was put out. We got all talking about my car, talking about stealing my car, talking about whether or not the oil, there's oil in it, starvation. Get her on that pull-in on a schedule. Give her jewelry, fake up a jewelry scam, have her starve her so she goes upon it, and then get her on stolen property, even though Terry Wagner gave it to me. We got all that recorded. Mike was drugged. Gene Mitchell's worried about how did she know his legal argument before he made it. He texted her. She texted him in October and told him, don't do that. It's not plausible what you're about to say. How did she know? He deposed me. He could have asked me. We got all that. The more we get, the easier it'll be to get a conviction, sir. easier it'll be to get a conviction. Nobody will call you, will they? It's been every day for 7 years. McNamara email was the first. This one, get her back to Texas so we can do more harm to her. Everybody fucking hates you bitches for what you're putting me through and Mike. Everybody fucking hates you bitches for what you're putting me through and Mike. I'm gonna say it one more time, because you need everything repeated. We can get information, and you can't. Because everybody hates you for what you're doing to me and Mike. He said she's not to be broke anymore. She's not to have to ask for money anymore. She's to have her privacy back. And you're not to cause any more problems. You're not to contact her. You leave her alone. Or we'll get more until your arrest. And the more we get, the easier it will be to get a conviction and restitution. Period. And you had me thrown out, payment refused twice, thrown out, my stuff stolen, and thrown in the trash. He said he doesn't understand what I said. I'm not wasting my time talking to him. I'm going to spend my time getting stuff like this right here. Because that's the productive use of my time. And this stuff right here. You make a decision when you contact me, when you invade my privacy, and the longer I'm broke, the more problems you cause and hardship and suffering, and the more Mike's in jail. You make the decision. You don't want the phone call, and you don't want the help. That's the way it is. Now, it's the 14th of December, 2022. I'm repeating myself yet again. Because we've already said this over and over and over and over. You're going to make a bunch of phone calls, and no one's going to help you, and no one is going to call you back. That's it. He doesn't waste his time talking to a fucktard who can't understand a word he said. He doesn't want to hear your excuses. No one does. Everybody's sick of y'all. Sick of y'all. You're hated. Very, very hated people. Because of what you've done to me and Mike. Everybody fucking hates you. Everybody's fucking sick of this. Very disturbed by it. It isn't normal. It's cruelty. It's awful. It's mean. It's sick. It's psychopath. You can't be normal and do stuff like this to another person. You can't. You have to be something sick twisted with you. Our shrink said he's got guys helping him that think they're okay. I'm going to examine him and I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with them. What disease they have. Because you can't be normal and hurt somebody else. You can't do it. And these guys just want to hurt her every day. That's all they do is sit around and figure out how to ruin her and hurt her. None of them are normal. I don't care what they think. You guys sit around and bullshit and start to believe your own lies, don't you? But nobody else does. You're breaking the law. The laws are in place to protect people like me and Mike from injury. You're not injured. We are. And we're injured bad. We're injured in a way we'll never get over it. Our lives are not going to be the same. We will never get over it. The Miller family certainly will never get over it. We're the injured ones. We're the ones everybody's worried about. We can get information and you can't. People are sick of you. Everybody's sick of you. Everybody, Mr. Perry, is fucking sick of you. I don't consent to be trafficked. I don't consent to be concubined. I don't consent to be your girlfriend. I don't consent to even being your friend. So it's rape. I don't consent to perform sex acts for you. Or for your buddies. For free or any other way. I said no. No means no. Rapist. So now he's thinking of adding a conspiracy to commit attempted rape. He's looking at it right now. She said no. He's still trying to take her car and force her into something she doesn't want to do. So this is for the court record. I'm Cynthia Ortiz. I don't consent. I don't consent to have my privacy invaded. I don't consent to allow you to have information on my car. I don't consent to you talking to my car guy at all. I don't consent to you talking to anybody I do business with at all. I don't consent to being trafficked or being your concubine or your girlfriend or even your friend. I don't consent to any contact at all. I don't like you. No one does. We can get information and you can't because you're making everybody very upset, very disturbed, and very angry. We're going to keep doing what we're doing until you're arrested. The more we get, the easier it'll be to get a conviction and restitution. He doesn't need to waste his time talking to you, and he's not going to. Now act like you understand what those words mean, all right?
Leave me alone! Please!
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
Leave me alone! Please!
Just
Mom,
that's okay. I don't care.
leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone! Please!
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
Oh my god! It's too damn early for this shit! Leave me alone!
How do you dress like this? What are you, a prostitute? I'm serious.
Sir, please leave me alone.
That's okay. I don't